Hello friends, and welcome to our sound check video. We've had to make a few adjustments to how we do business, so I've had to shuffle a few members of my staff around to make sure that people are within my bubble.
Dad, is this what I do to hold the strings on?
Give my brother the guitar.
Hey, could I have my per diem?
Tell my mama not to worry about money quite so much.
And pirouette. Now your turn,
Never
Steven.
turn your back upon a second chance. Never trust a guy.
I am trying to hit the high E.
I know you need to.
Yes, I've been doing my warm-ups. Hopefully you can see me and you can hear me, in which case we're ready to roll.
Hey, Dad, it's almost time for the show.
Cause the ceiling gonna shatter. And believe me when it does.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Stephen Kellogg, and I'm here at an undisclosed location.
Well, we'll start with a man who we are always happy to welcome back on the mountainside. This is his 6th visit.
Really excited. Stephen Kellogg is with us.
Singer-songwriter Stephen Kellogg has shared a new single.
Back in the day, used to do 275 days a year on the road.
Live at the Bay Studios with Stephen Kellogg.
I'd never heard your music before. I really loved it.
The thing is, I have been kicking around here for almost 20 years now, you know.
I know what you're saying.
He does what he does best, which is mine his own life to come up with some truths. Paul Simon does it too. A lot of great writers do it, and I think he's right up there with them.
I'm not a guy that gives up. I never give up.
Sold out shows
tonight at Wolfram. Please welcome our friend, Mr. Stephen Kellogg.
Please welcome Mr. Stephen Kellogg.
My name is Stephen Kellogg, professional singer and songwriter. It's better to be at the bottom of a ladder you want to climb than the top of one you don't. I got that from The Office.
There'll be objects in the mirror.
I think Stephen is brave, so as an artist, he's an artist's artist.
As we look back through the looking glass.
His music is pretty much the most honest music I've ever listened to in my life. It's like he's writing in his diary.
Gotta dance like a symphony of joy.
In his music, he exudes optimism, a belief in all our abilities to transcend and persevere.
I always say that he's one of the greatest lyricists of our time.
All the way from the East Coast, Mr. Stephen Kellogg. I got all I ever wanted, but I still cannot believe how I love to take for granted all the love that comes to me, all the love.
So I'm just there to say thank you so much for your service. They're away from their families for much more than we are as musicians.
I've always kind of operated in different genres, so it gave me a chance to kind of indulge that.
After seeing that film about you, Last Man Standing, I have a new appreciation.
Do you remember who we were when all this began?
15 years. I do this because I don't feel that I have an option. And it's also how I feed my family, so.
For me, music just has to say something.
Gonna be the last man standing.
He has also written a book of corresponding essays about life, marriage, and music.
Writing the book is harder than I thought.
Yeah. I'm about to start work on a new project. A series of essays that correspond.
It's like I got 4 daughters. I want to see them grow up, and I want to dream new dreams. Hello, my friends, and welcome to the B-Sides and Rarities set here on the Experience Tour 2.0. I apologize for the late start. We were having some technical difficulties here. This is our 40th show that we've done since we started this, and for the most part, we've gotten away pretty clean, and tonight wasn't going to be that night. I don't know if it's the rain. I don't know if it's the vibration in the world. I don't know if it's the universe knowing that this is probably the most challenging show of music I put together in 40 shows. And it was like, you think you can handle that? Let me mess with your lighting. And so at some point, we stopped working on some of the issues we were having, and we just decided that if you can see me and I can see the little chat and get confirmation that you're seeing me so we can have a show, then we're in good shape and we're going to let it ride. So I apologize for the late start and all that, but I thank you for being here tonight to share with me what will be an adventure, most certainly. If you don't know what you tuned into a night of B-sides and rarities. So if you're not a good reader or something and you just accidentally picked this one out of a hat, hang on to your seats. These are songs that don't get played, and I'm going to give them a swing tonight. Before I get started, I do want to take a minute to perform one of the rituals that we've been doing for the last, since March when these shows started. Or I guess they started in April. We've been taking a roll call. And it's a chance for me to say the names of everybody who bought a ticket for tonight, which it's one of those things, like so many things, that you can kind of take for granted after you're doing it for a while, Either people tuning in, I hear my name again. But I want to say that when I go back out and we start doing in-person shows again, this moment won't exist anymore, and it will be, hopefully, for you, the kind of memory it is for me. It's a great chance to know the people for whom my music and what I have to say has meant something. So when I'm thanking you from the bottom of my heart. And I know we got a late roll, but I'm still going to take the time to do the roll call. I'd like to thank Katie Wanta, Holly Woods, Monette Dalal, Clayton Ames, Holly Hoff, Katie Armstrong, Cheryl Armstrong, and Debbie Armstrong, the Armstrong Brood, Nicole Dunham, Rob Colony, Molly King, Kelly Pertel, Kara Kogelman, Caitlin Hoyt, Peter Passarella, Lisa Scagliotti, Elise Yakovone, Jocelyn Robich, Matthew Camus, I don't think I said that right, Amanda Schlossberg, Stephen Kellogg Sr. and Carol Kellogg, Adam Anderson, Dave Short, Nicholas Brunk, Mike Richdorf, the Grill Master, Amber Tesoriero, my dear friend Sarah Mahoney, Kyle Haberly, Elizabeth Norton, Dave Mooney, Amy Burmeister, Mary Herzig, Christopher Grew, Hannah Sklar, Kelly Gallagher, Dorothy Meyer, Brittany Satterley, Amy Bowater, Jessica Harden, Leanne Kruger, Greg Silp, Brittany Patinetz, Glenn Peer, Bethany Gordon, Esther Goldman, Susan Hickenbottom. That is a great name. That is a great name, Miss Hickenbottom. Steve Schmidt, Aristotle Apollo, also a strong name. Jen Dorner, John Katz, my man. Lindsay Papenchak, Paola Rizada, Elizabeth Norton, Connor McKenna, Marissa Skaggs, Maggie Creedor, Corey Chancellor, Jen Herrick, James Mershan, Anthony Severini, Stephen and Kara Dayton, and our season pass holders, Zerlinda Jesse, Max Selleck, Alyssa Love, Ron Kepnick, Sarah and Joe Guistina, Kendra Hill, Rachel Hawkins, Deborah Hernandez, the Novitskis, Jonesy, Missy Soltero, Tom and Mary Gilding, Colleen Weiler, Allison Hammer, Robert Brenner, Christopher Burkett, Scott Hurley, Julie Fancy, Timothy Walsh, The Panics, Jeff and Claire Valder, Britt Nisco, Catherine Anderson, Catherine Roberts, the Tolley sisters, Haley Diller, Liz Redder, and Kenny Corbett. You guys, we're here. We did it. Sometimes, sometimes things are a little nutty, but we got here. And that's about all the time we have now. We'll start 15 minutes late, then I'll talk for 7 minutes. I am gonna, before the music starts, and once it starts, I'll roll. I need to thank tonight's presenting partners, my dear friends over at Sensophonics. They gave me my in-ears years ago that I use on stage when I'm doing the big rock shows. And we've been so grateful to work with so many incredible partners on this tour. Thank you guys for tuning in and being part of the B-Sides and Rarities show. Now, what could be more rare than a song that's unreleased and has only been played once? And I know your answer is a song that's unreleased and has never been played, but we're going to start with the latter. Thanks for being here. I was trying to find the light. I've been trying to find the light. I'm just trying to find the light. I'm just trying to find it. There are things I can't remember, things emblazoned in my mind. All these changes like the weather could be part of the design. And the Space Needle reminds me of the past I left behind. In search of something I always knew I needed to find. And I was trying to find the light. I've been trying to find the light. I'm just trying to find the light. I'm just trying to find it. In the village by the water, there were ladybugs like angels. I was thinking about my mother. I was feeling like a stranger, and the work, it never ends. In the Isle of Manhattan, all these things that go unsaid made me think about my dad, and then I was trying to find the light. I've been trying to find the light. I'm just trying to find the light. I'm just trying to find it. In all the places I have known, and all the hearts that I have loved, something fell but never shone. I couldn't see it. I knew I could be it. I could feel it in my bones. I didn't change so I could change you. I wasn't trying to throw you off. This was never about you, in case that was what you thought. You see, I've got this bird inside me, and I had to give it flight. Now I'm soaring in this, soaring in this, soaring in this beautiful light. Beautiful light. Thank you. Thank you very much. I see my Bluetooth that makes you hear the applause that I just aired. I see that disconnected, so perfect. Fuck you, universe. Sorry, I know there's kids somewhere, but probably not as many tonight as there sometimes are. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So from that song, I'm going to go to a song. Now it's hidden. I'm gonna go to a song that was released in 2005. I'm gonna go to a song that was released in 2005. And I put this on an EP called One Night in Brooklyn, and because I made my first major label record for Universal Records. And I gave them a lot more songs than they needed, and they picked the ones that were probably the most commercially viable, which I don't blame them for, but then I was expressing that I was a little blue about some of my favorite songs not getting recorded and the ones that I felt I really needed to do. So it came out on an EP that never really found the light of day, but I think recently it may have wound up getting put on Spotify or something. And this song, I wrote it, you know, thinking about being a younger man and feeling like there was always a party going on that I couldn't be a part of. And right after I got signed, I was headed into New York City to make this record, and I ran into this guy who used to throw me into lockers and really give me a hard time. And he came up to me and was like, "Steven, hey man, how you doing?" I couldn't believe it. I mean, literally, it was as though he didn't you know, like terrorize me and my friends in junior high and then later high school. It was unbelievable. And I realized, I just got thinking about the way we sort of jockey through our life, you know, and think like, well, I'm in a better place than this person. And now, oh, they're in a better place than me. And Instagram has only sort of exacerbated this whole thing. And I wrote this song about that feeling of wanting to get away from that. But also, when I was learning it again yesterday, I couldn't help but feel a little sad for all of those of us who are who want to seem more special than we are because you're all so special. You couldn't relate to me then, 'cause I wasn't as quick with my jokes, and I barely escaped from my childhood bed. There were so many people that I didn't know then. But I was leaving, and that held appeal to you. I was leaving, when you're leaving, others feel it too. You see, you don't look the same when you're leaving. At least that's what I thought that you said. There were so many things I was feeling. I was scared and confused, and I mostly felt bad. But I was leaving, and I found some comfort there. I was leaving, too stupid or too brave to care. And I don't care where they go. It's all these things that I've let go. And I know how it seemed then, but I'm still bleeding. And I don't care who knows, I don't care. So the day has finally come to settle up, and I'm quicker with my words, but it never is enough. And the ones I used to know, they were so conceited. And I thought of them then, but I never will again. Why did I think of you then? 'Cause you were leaving, and that held appeal to me. You were leaving, but when you're leaving, you get thought of constantly. When you're leaving, you get thought of constantly. Thank you very much. If you knew it was going to be this kind of night, I don't know, you would have made martinis or something. I would have made something here. All right. We're going to switch gears to a slightly more buoyant song here for a minute. This is an old Sixers song, and I got to dedicate this to my longtime tour manager, merch person, attendee, all those things. And if I know the TV's strobing a little bit, if you need to look away, look away. I'm sorry to highlight it. It was one of the many tech pitfalls of tonight. I'm going to play an old Sixers song right now that got played a few times back in the day. And whenever I would ask Sarah Mahoney, my friend who has probably seen, I don't know, 700 or 800 shows at this point, whenever I would say, what song you want me to play tonight? What's the deep cut? She would say Bees, and I would say no, but give me another one. And so, Sarah, I'm playing Bees for you, girl. Now the rumors run riot, but they ain't true. The things people say can be a bit cruel. Like the bees just do what the bees do.
song but couldn't stay, so it up and flew. When a dog learns to fetch, he doesn't have a plan. When a boy grows up, he will become a man. But a man's got to do what he's got to do, even if the man in question doesn't have a clue. And I am biding my time every day now. And I'm thanking my stars that I got this far. And I know it might seem like I think I'm all that, but I wanted you to know before you pass me by, I am not that guy. It's a right monsoon, 'cause when it rains it pours. It took a long, long time to get to your door. I'm gonna pack my bags and do another tour. Lose a little more of who I was before. It's okay, sometimes you gotta let things go. There's only so many people you can really know. You can't be everything to everyone. You should never forget where you came from. And I'm biding my time every day now. And I am thanking my stars that I got this far. And I know it might seem like I figured it out, but I wanted you to know before you pass me by, I am not that guy. Take me to the bridge. All right, here we go. And I am biding my time every day now. And I've been thanking my stars that I got this far. And I know it might seem like I figured it out, but I wanted you to know before you pass me by, I'm not that guy. Do 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 do, yeah. 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 Do 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 do, oh. Do 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 do, yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. Bees, everybody, from 2003, a Sixer song. I will have Sixer Boots Factor in the studio here with me next week. A week from today, we will be doing the Bear album in its entirety. It's my first time playing here on this show with anyone other than my daughters. But Boots is my favorite woman other than them, so, and my wife. Sorry, hon. It's funny, the camera's like a little more closed in on me tonight, so I like every time I gesture, my hands freaking disappear. I'm like, hi! I've had shows like this over the years too, where everything goes a little crazy. And speaking of crazy, this next song is called I Will Be Crazy For You. It was an Amazon Summer Songs. They gave me a small budget to go in and make a recording of a song in 2015 for their summer thing. So they said, we want upbeat summer songs. And I said, great, well, I want some money to go record, so this works out. And out of that session, we were able to record Orion, which was originally a B-side that went on to be on Objects in the Mirror. We also recorded Love Me As I Am, which came out this year, and it was one of the only songs I've been able to put out this year, but I had that from that session. And then we did the original version of High Highs, Low Lows, all on that same session. But we did this song, we did it with Josh Kaufman, who's gonna be a guest on my show on November 22nd. He later went on to produce my North album, and he's the guitarist on the new Taylor Swift. So it was the beginning of a lot of good things, and I wrote it about this beautiful woman who has been producing my shows here for since April.
March is when the world fell apart. But and it's really just a feel-good song. It's like a summertime song. So you're going to want this, because after this, I can't be responsible for what happens. Grab your drinks, everybody. Here we go. I've been called crazy, maybe it's true. Warm winds blow in, late part of June. I see your skin in a shirt I could see through. Girl, if I'm crazy for you. Now, I've never been lazy. Come 4th of July, I'm in my backyard, smoke ribs and rye. Won't lift a finger unless I'm dancing to tunes. Girl, if I'm crazy for you. With your blueberry eyes, heavenly thighs, ain't no surprise come summertime. I know I will be crazy for you, and I hope you'll be crazy for me too. That's right. Gets to August, people say it's too hot. Come late September, it's like they forgot. Ain't that the way? You don't know what you got till it's slipping away and you're missing your shot at those blueberry eyes, Milky Way thighs, losing my mind come summertime. I know I will be crazy for you, and I hope you'll be crazed. Those blueberry eyes, heavenly thighs, I catch on fire come summertime. I hope you'll be crazed for me too. Yes, I hope you'll be crazed for me too. I hope you'll be crazed, 'cause for all of my days, I know I will be crazy for you. That song is on Amazon. That song's on Amazon. It's an Amazon exclusive, or maybe it's available other places right now. I don't know. Sometimes Alexa plays that song, and I always say, Alexa, where did you get this song? She doesn't answer me because she's a robot, which is the crap about it all. She's a robot. Alexa is a robot that listens in and suddenly suggests things like, there's a sale on cannellini beans. And you're like, what is happening to us? If you haven't seen the movie The Social Dilemma and you need something else to be anxious about in 2020, I really recommend it. But I think it's sort of a necessary thing to study up on. And Alexa knows how to find I Will Be Crazy for You. It was sort of on my list of things I was going to scope out in the few hours before this show, before everything didn't work. Hey, and by the way, I'm not being negative. I'm having a sense of humor about all that is kind of, and I know, and I like get it, like someone will write me and be like, dude, it was fine. And I'm like, I got you. But also, like, you know, when stuff's going crazy, you're aware of it. And I could not talk about it, but I need to kind of talk about it a little bit. And I know after one show where I had a moment like this person was writing me, you shouldn't say anything. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do me because I'm here, and you do you, and don't let me diminish your fun in any way because I'm having a great time, but it's only because I need like full-on honesty. And right now, to be perfectly honest, a lot is going on in this world, and none of it's important or big compared to the wider world. But, is my ceiling over there leaking? Yes. Did my healthcare premium go up today? Yes, it did. And are we having some tech issues? Yes, we are. But essentially, the show is really working out, I think, and I'm having a good time. I won't say more. I just needed to qualify that. Like, don't write me and tell me that it's okay. Like, it's okay, okay? Write nice things, but we don't need to talk more about this. I get it. I sound like a teenager being like, Mom, not now. Okay. I'm gonna play you a song that I recorded at Sun Studios in 2009. I was out on tour with Need to Breathe and went home for a short visit to go to a doctor's appointment with my wife, and we found out we had a miscarriage. And I met a few of you guys who are pregnant at the meet and greet. And I don't want you to worry because of seeing this song or anything like that. But I think the amount of people tuned into your pregnancies are going to be great. But sometimes this happens. Sometimes really disappointing things happen, and that was. Kirsten looks terrified of how I'm introducing. I'm like, you guys are having babies. Let me tell you about my miscarriage. Rarities. This is a rare bit of banter, but it was real, and it happened to me, not you. Don't worry about things that you can't control. And so it was wild, and we went to Sun Studios because it was the studio between where we were playing in Atlanta and where we were going, and we made this song, and the people were so lovely there at the end. They said no charge, and they allowed us to record it. And because it was so personal, we didn't release it for many years, but it came out on the B-side of a Thanksgiving vinyl, and then as the hidden track on the UK version of Blunderstone Rookery. So we haven't made it widely available, but we just put it on the Family Store because I know that some people might know the song. And yeah. Oh, every now and then I get a little bit sad. Between awake and asleep, I dream of what we never had. The whisper of a child that got away. Give your mama a rose from my bouquet. Ghost, ghost, an ache in my chest. It still hurts the most. How could it be for the best? And ghost, ghost, you took a piece of me. The Lord knows it was yours to keep. A week later I was leaving with some things still left unsaid. Machines and anesthesia and the opaque look of a hospital bed. And I did some drinking, I'm not gonna lie, just trying to move on, trying to make it alright. Ghost, ghost, an ache in my chest. It still hurts the most. How could it be for the best? And ghost, ghost, you took a piece of me. The Lord knows it was yours to keep. and it's yours to keep now. It is yours to keep now. And it's time to sleep now. As I lay me down, ghost, ghost, an ache in my chest. It still hurts the most. How could it be for the best? And ghost, ghost, you took a piece of me. The Lord knows it was yours to keep, and it's yours to keep now. Ghost. A lot of love in all of this. A lot of love in all these songs. And it's a joy to play them, as wild as they are. From here, we are going to pick it back up, and I'm going to play you a song from 2001 that was a staple. I wrote it before the Sixers, but it became a staple in the Sixers sets, and we used to have a lot of fun playing this. As you can see, I wrote it with my friend Chris Soucy here, who was the original guitarist in that band. And yes, that's a Vineyard Vines whale we have on our hat. We were pushing entertainment value before we had the songs to back it up. But it's a song about trying to get big and famous. Here we go. 1, 2, all right. Well, I was getting lonely when the band came busting in. Adorning drunken bravery from hours and hours of mongoose gin. And I was okay standing there at the left side of the stage. Neil, the nighttime manager, and never let me stay 'cause I was underage. May have been lazy, double-crossed. Got back in and I caught that show, and now I'm not so lost. You see, I played my share of cafes and bars trying to get big. Man walks in, he got a fat cigar, says, "Skunk, you got the gig." We head up to the studio and he says, "Get one in the can." It all on the radio and everyone singing "You the Man." I should have been happy, sipping the sauce. What goes up comes back down, and now I'm not so lost. Say hello. Before the Dukes of Hazzard, Jessica Simpson had never acted. And as far as I'm concerned, the slate is still clean. 2, 3, 4. Now could you meet me down on Center Street in your rented car? This cigar man, yeah, he likes to meet in all the places that the people are. He says, "You got soul, brother, you got accolades, but your bankroll story, that's another. With all your hard work, you can't get paid." I should have been angry, I was getting ripped off, but I made amends with the man upstairs, and now I'm not so lost. I've been singing on Sunday, guitar, and I got no boss. I keep playing all my life, and now I'm not so, well, I'm not so lost. You're welcome. You're welcome, everybody. That one's called Now I'm Not So Lost. So here's what's going to happen. I did want to mention, if you have dressed up as your favorite Stephen Kellogg song, please tag us. We're going to be giving away a Family Store gift card to the costume that gets the most votes. You can tag us on Facebook or Instagram for the costume contest that we're having for Halloween. What we're going to do is I've been sharing an interview, trying to think, what can we not do on in-person shows that we can do here? And each week, I have had special guests that tune in. Today, I have my friend Jeb Gatilius, who runs several organizations that affect social change. I can't help but want to talk to him the week before this historic election. He runs the Ally Coalition that handles LGBTQ rights for a group that has been much marginalized. His big company is called SailWorks. Calling All Crows is the other one I've worked with. But he does so much good in the world, and I was lucky to catch up with him yesterday, and I'd like to share that with you. And then when we come back, I've got just a few more of these B-sides and rarities. Ew.
Jeb Gatilius, my friend, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing as well as I can be.
Yeah.
It's going to be quite a week as we wait for this election to come through.
I know this is the last show before the election that's airing. I know we're taping this just a day or two before, but that was part of why I wanted you to be the guest on this show, because you've built a life sort of facilitating social change. So now we're coming into this epic election. I mean, why don't we just start there? I wasn't going to start here, but why don't we just, why is social change so important? Why is this, what's coming up, so important?
I look at it as it's really, for me in my life, it's social change in music and why they're inextricably linked and feeding off each other, driving each other. I work with musicians around their philanthropy and social impact, and I come at it because music for me has always touched a nerve, has always either, it makes people dance, it makes people cry. There's an impact that music has. And as part of that, I've always seen how music accompanies huge social movements, civil rights, and we know the music that surrounded that, for instance. And I, more than ever, see the need for change in the States, whether it's, and I'm lucky enough to work across several issues, so whether it's LGBTQ youth who are experiencing homelessness or women's rights, we need to do a better job at ensuring that everyone has an equal chance to succeed. And we're not close. And it's so gratifying as we're coming into this election, it's really gratifying to see the number of artists who are speaking out and shouting at that need for change and using their art to amplify the need for change and amplify the activists who've been long fighting for this change.
Yeah, I mean, and this has been a thing as long as I've known you now, which is more than 15 years. Although I think in the beginning when I met you, we were printing our T-shirts, and you had an apparel company and stuff. I mean, were your parents active in social change? I mean, where did that impulse? Because a lot of us enjoy music, but you've actually you've built companies now that turn that into action. I mean, where did that impulse come from? Did you grow up with it, or?
I grew up in West Virginia, and moved to Boston for high school. My parents weren't necessarily socially active, and even are Republican. So our politics are on divergent ends of the spectrum. I first really recognized the connection between music and social change, I think probably I remember Ani DeFranco. Not only is she this incredible musician, her lyrics, she's singing a song about a doctor who performed an abortion who was shot. And I remember first hearing that song and being blown away that an artist could so publicly sings about such a horrific event. And then you learn about how she started her own business and runs her own label, and just all of that together. And that was at that same time I was out of college 2 years and working for a financial services organization, kind of a hedge fund, and not liking it, realizing it was interesting, but I wasn't close enough to any sort of change. And that's when I started that business where I met you. My brother and I were designing and manufacturing clothing, and we started that business because we really loved how Patagonia treated their workers, treated the environment, and we wanted to do something to support people. And we tried to use that business. That was our response. So I got out of the financial services company to go start that business, and it quickly, I was able to add in musicians and start providing t-shirts and stuff for musicians like you and some other bands, and grew it from there.
Wow. And so now I read that you're the co-founder of SailWorks, but under that is the Ally Coalition, who I've worked with, Calling All Crows. I saw that you've got the mental health one with Love. Am I pronouncing Love? I always read his name. Lauv. I never know if I'm pronouncing it right, but okay, Lauv. And now, I mean, it's just one of these jobs that when you're a kid, you don't imagine that there's going to be a facilitator of these things is a job. You don't realize it's a job. So how did you transition from t-shirt to this being your thing? People come in and saying, here's my cause, here's what's important to me, how do we make this happen?
One of those t-shirt clients was a band named Dispatch. That was being a mutual friend of ours, Steve Bursky, was an intern on that band back in 2001. And we were designing and manufacturing, sending t-shirts to this band. And also we had started an internet site with them. This was back when the internet was just starting, and they needed someone to help them fulfill their site. So we had a factory, we did that. And the work with them, I always have felt, kind of like you do, the relationships are so important. The relationships of the people we work with, and how we treat everyone around us with curiosity and kindness. And with Dispatch, I became pretty close with all of them, but especially with Chad, who also and Chad and I would have very far-ranging conversations about activism and politics. And his music is extraordinarily political, extraordinarily focused on activism. And as a result of those conversations, the band was playing in 2007, 3 nights at Madison Square Garden, and they were playing the shows to donate all the proceeds somewhere. They weren't sure where. And so Chad and Brad and Pete asked me to come in and figure out, we've got 3 nights of Madison Square Garden money. We want to help Zimbabwe. Can you do that for us? And that was in 2007. And it felt, it felt like it was the opportunity to explore and figure out how to do it.
How much are you doing right now with all this, with COVID and everything? Like, how much is sort of this stuff moving right now?
It's full. It's busier than I've ever been.
Okay.
And because someone like Ari, so Ari's Lauv, a year and a half ago, he and his team came to me, and Ari has struggled with his mental health. There's a history of it in his family, and he's been able to kind of walk with that. And he wanted to focus a percentage of his career on supporting fans and supporting other people, changing the conversation around how we talk about mental health. And so he's locked inside of his house, yet doing a lot of thinking about how he can do more. And so over the last 6 months, we've gone through a pretty extensive strategic planning process with Ari and the entire board about the Blue Boy Foundation. And we're all home, so we've got the time. And we also have been able to work with Microsoft on a series of conversations. Ari asks his friends who are all over the world, who are musicians, to participate in conversations. So it's, in one sense, it's almost easier to get people involved in conversations around impact because we're all at home. The Ally Coalition is the work I do with Jack Antonoff, and we're in the process of finalizing our 8th, I think, talent show. You played one of the first talent shows for the Ally Coalition.
You guys have leveled that shit up, brother. I was looking at that on your website. The last one was like Dixie Chicks and Taylor Swift on the one before that. I'm like, that is amazing, man. The level of A-list huge talent. It's clearly you're doing a good job at this, because it's great to see big artists throwing themselves in for great causes, using that. It's just amazing to me.
I'm really fortunate to work with people like Jack and Ari who are willing to use their platform.
If you pretend that you're sort of neutral just to, not offend anybody, then you really stand for nothing at all. And that's no good. I don't think that's why anybody gets into music. Let me be as vanilla and in the middle as possible. But it does take a certain amount of bravery and guts. And I feel like, Jack and Chad have always sort of blazed that for me.
Your music has always been so honest. And that's what makes an artist like you or Jack or Chad or Ari, I think, so interesting to a fan, is that they're sharing this honesty. And so we're going to have this election, and if whichever, fingers crossed, it turns out the way we all want it to, either way, I would hope that people learning that to say that you're apolitical just it can't possibly cut it. There are too many people who are suffering, who are homeless, who don't have access to school, who don't have access to medicine, who don't have access to a job, especially over the last 6 months, that we have to change that. And how can an artist whose life is sharing their soul not see that and not speak out? And thank God they are. And I think artists don't need to be leading the protests. There are so many incredible activists out there who have spent their entire lives or years figuring the issues, pushing the issues. And how can the artists I work with amplify those platforms? It doesn't. Yeah. That's where it gets exciting to me, is the artists who are willing to say, hey, you should look at what this activist is doing for Black Lives Matter or for LGBTQ youth.
I love it, man. It's so well said. You're so articulate, and I'm glad to know you. I appreciate you being on the show today, and thanks for blazing the trail. I stand at the ready when you need me. Let me know what I can do, brother. I would. If you're involved, I want to be involved.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. Everybody, my friend Jeb Gatilius, changing the world one organization at a time. Thanks for being here, Jeb.
See you soon.
My friend Jeb Gatilius taking time out of his day to share some wisdom with us. Jeb, thank you so much for being part of this. And now, without further ado, the moment you've been waiting for, today's good news. Today's good news is a story that came to my attention about, you can't read that, I can't read it. Food writer opens a restaurant during the pandemic for a chipmunk. No, you read it correctly. So what happened is this woman put out a very tiny, miniature little, these are like toothpicks with cheese wheels, because she had a chipmunk that was hanging out around her house. Now, for frame of reference, I actually called my friend who's an exterminator, because we have so many chipmunks here in New England that I'm like, me and the chipmunks have never had a beef, but they scare the bejesus out of you because they just pop out of things. This woman took a much kinder, much nicer tact, and now every day this chipmunk comes back and she makes him, she's named him Thelonious Monk. She makes him little burgers. Apparently she made some little sushi. And she serves him like it's a restaurant. I thought that was good news. The chipmunk, Thelonious Monk, good news. All right, I'm gonna play you a song that I put on a 7-inch vinyl, purple vinyl, came out back in 2016. This one's called Wolf.
The wolf by the ears, the tiger by the tail, the sinking realization that this time you're gonna fail. Failure is a friend who talks behind your back, puts a bit between your teeth and lets the cat out of the bag. And these things may mean more to me than to you. Just because you don't believe it doesn't mean it isn't true. True. Roll with the punches, smell the roses. Roll with the punches, smell the roses. Roll with the punches, smell the roses. Comparison's a thief, a despot and a lie. It'll take away your joy, and the happiest of time will never tell. And space is gonna win. The prayer is to the saint what the bet is to the sin. And these things may mean more to me than to you. Just because you don't believe it doesn't mean it isn't true. True. Roll with the punches, smell the roses. Roll with the punches, smell the roses. Roll with the punches, smell the roses. Hey, all right. Speaking of wolves, I'm going to play you a B-side that came out also on Amazon in the year 2009. It's the only song I ever wrote with my wife, Kirsten. She contends she didn't have anything to do with it, but we're going to stay on the wolf theme. And I think this is the last ballad of the evening. But this song's always meant a lot to me, and it came directly off a text that my wife sent to me, and at a time when we never saw each other, and now we see each other every single day, every single part, and I think it's probably almost exhausting. I've been talking to a lot of my songwriter friends, and I talked to Drew Holcomb today, and we said, I said, how you doing? And and we were like, I think we might be wearing out our welcome. But so to anybody that's feeling a little tired from it all, you're not alone. What's wrong? I think you asked me. Nothing, I probably said. I was lying, absolutely. So we left it at that, and then both went to bed. But how many times could you take that bet before you wake up one day
and your whole life's a mess. I think it needs to be said. I guess I'm just tired. I know you are too, but I wanted to call and say I love you. I'm really just tired. I wish I could rest. This heart's busy pumping blood to my chest. What happened to 16 and romance and trying to hook up after the dance? We both do a lot and we do nothing too every day. Well, it's more than just a list to get through. How many times could you take that bet before you wake up one day and your whole life's a mess? I think it needs to be said. I guess I'm just tired, and I know you are too, but I wanted to call and tell you I love you. I'm really just tired. I wish we could rest. This heart's busy pumping blood to my chest. In my mind, I just went back to when we made this song. We had a string section, and they were putting all their strings down to this part. And we were in a studio, we couldn't really afford to heat it. We were getting a deal on it, but it wasn't heated, so it was freezing. And I hadn't been home in way too long. I sort of learned eventually you don't stay away that long. And I'll never forget the sound of those violins and cellos and being completely covered with blankets and missing everything I loved to make this music that I also love. And as much as that hurt, I'm so grateful for that memory, because it lets me know that right now in 2020, whatever happens, I get to be in the boat with my favorite people, and the music's still here, thank God. La-di-da, la-di-da-da, la-di-da. I howl at the moon. I howl at the moon sometimes. I howl at the moon 'cause it helps me get through when I need to know that you're under it too. I howl at the moon just as loud as I can. I howl at the moon, though that wasn't the plan. You should howl at the moon if you're under it too. When you need to know someone cares about you. You howl at the moon if it helps you get through. When you run out of things that you're holding on to, you should howl at the moon if it helps you get through. There ain't no judgment from me to you. You howl at the moon. Ain't no shame in it, friends. Ain't no shame in it. I got one more B-side and rarity here for you. But thank you. Thanks for going on the trip with me. I think a lot of you jumped in. I had worked to relearn so many of these songs, and it was so pleasing to me in the last 24 hours to see a bunch of people jump on tonight. If it's your first show, thanks for coming. I hope you'll come again. We've got 5 more shows on this tour all next month. We're doing one that is drinking songs with my dad as the special guest. We're doing the Bear album. We're doing the Southwest Northeast album. We're doing a show of cover songs called Songs by My Friends and People I Wish Were My Friends. And we have one Songs About Family right before Thanksgiving. I hope you'll join me again. And I'm going to leave you with this song that I wrote as a gift for a friend this year. I've never played it before, but it's called Me and Shorty. And it's for a buddy of mine, and it's a song about just being grateful that you got to play the game, that you got to show up, however it went, however it ever goes, you know? Yeah, love y'all. This one's for all of you. Yeah, I do all right. Cross the country on a mountain bike. Sound of leave-on in my ears. There goes another year. But you can't go back, I know. Work gets done and the kids get grown. And when I do my final dance, I'll be grateful that I even had a chance to know all of you. I met some real nice friends, made mistakes and I took some stands. Tried my best not to close good doors, but a few times I came up short. But we can't go back, I know. Work gets done and the kids get grown, and when I do my final dance, I'll be grateful that I even had a chance to know all of you. I imagine us, we're out there by the fire. Good conversation in the eyes of your granddaughter. Wherever we go, we will never be apart. Me and Shorty out there wishing on the stars. And we can't go back, you know. There's work to do and kids to grow. But when we reach our final dance, may we be grateful that we even had a chance to know all of you. Yeah, I do all right. What's this? What's this? What? You guys, the roar of the crowd that is always there night after night, and tonight is not there. Okay, fine. I will do an encore because I have one more B-side and one more rarity in me. I'm going to do 2 more songs, and I figure if you're still here now, then, you know, you shouldn't leave because we got to see this one out. I'm going to do one more B-side and one more rarity, but thank you very much for just letting me be the artist that I always dreamt I could be. Before I play these last songs, I want to tell you what we're doing at the Kellogg Family Store. We have a free shipping code tonight, Peace 2020. It's good for the next 24 hours. It gets you free shipping with anything that you might want to pick up. We just restocked up on our t-shirts that say socially distanced, emotionally connected. We have a new Milwaukee shirt. We have a Letter of Hope 2020 shirt. We have my book that if you somehow missed it, it's called Objects in the Mirror, Thoughts on a Perfect Life from an Imperfect Person. We sign them all. Every time we sell something on the Kellogg Family Store, I can't say this enough, it's a celebration. It's now piped into my oldest daughter, Sophia's phone, my phone, Adeline, who's 13's phone, and Kirsten's phone. And it's like little bells that ring that are like, it's going to be okay. You've got people are there, but usually we'd be out on the road and we'd be giving you this stuff in person. Well, we wouldn't be giving it to you, but we'd be selling it to you in person. And so I know a lot of you who are tuning into these shows already have things, but maybe you come out to another show or you pick up a copy of the book for someone you think might enjoy it. You know, not a hard sell. I just need you to know that it makes a huge difference and that we appreciate it. And you've kept us going in 2020, and I'm committed to you. I'm going to keep you going too. I will keep showing up. I will keep trying. I make no guarantees of perfection, as evidenced in the book, but I will try to be here. So on that note, I'm going to play my last side of the night, a song that I didn't write, but that was written by one of my all-time bands, the Grateful Dead. It is a B-side on my 7-inch vinyl for Wolf. I learned it for my grandfather's funeral. So tonight I'm going to dedicate it to my dad who's tuned in. This one's for Gramps. When the last rose of summer pricks my fingers and the hot sun chills me to the bone, when I can't hear the song for the singer and I can't tell my pillow from a stone, I will walk alone by the black muddy river and sing me a song of my own. I will walk alone by the black muddy river and sing me a song of my own. When the last bolt of sunshine hits the mountain and the stars start to splatter in the sky, when the moon hits the southwest horizon with the scream of an eagle on a flight, I will walk alone by the black muddy river and sing me a song of my own. I will walk alone by the black muddy river and sing me a song of my own. Black muddy river, roll on forever. I don't care how deep or wide, if you've got another side. Roll muddy river, roll muddy river, black muddy river, roll. When it seems like the night will last forever and there's nothing left to do but count the years, when the strings of my heart begin to sever and stones fall from my eyes instead of tears,
I will walk alone by the black, muddy river and sing me a song of my own. I will walk alone by the black, muddy river and sing me a song of my own. I'm just gonna sing me a song that's my own. I'm gonna sing me a song that's my own. Black Muddy River by the Grateful Dead. All right, you ready for one more rarity? Let me hear you. Don't forget to tag us and tell us what you wore. What your favorite song was. I want to see someone dressed as a turkey for Thanksgiving, or I want to see a couple. Who are you guys? We're Charlie and Annie. It's like Charlie Chaplin and Annie, I don't know, Leibovitz. What would be some other funny ones? I don't know. For my last song of tonight, it's a rarity. It's something I wrote this month with my friend Eric Donnelly. I love you all so much. Thanks for giving me this life. Meteor showers in late summer, staring up at space. I guess we're not alone in all this chaos we create, running after every rabbit, taking all the bait. If everyone is always right, then what is there to say? I've had enough. I've had enough. I've had enough. But that doesn't mean I'm giving. That doesn't mean I'm giving up. I try to be on my best behavior, but most of the time it's hard. When it feels like Goliath is coming for you, you anticipate the scars. I'm still learning when to speak my mind and when to keep it to myself. 'Cause your faith is your faith, unless your faith is a threat to someone else. I've had enough. I've had enough. I've had enough. But that doesn't mean I'm giving. That doesn't mean I'm giving up. Get me off this roller coaster. It don't matter how. Show me where the hope is now. I've had enough. I've had enough. I've had enough. But that doesn't mean I'm giving. That doesn't mean I'm giving up. Neither should you. Love you guys. Be well, be kind, vote for the good guys. See you soon.
Well, friends, we did it. I hope you had as much fun as I did.
Thank you for tuning in, and I'd love it if you would take the time to head on over to the Kellogg Family Store at StephenKellogg.com and pick up some merchandise. We have copies of my new book, a virtual tour t-shirt that we made just for these special events, songbooks, CDs, vinyl, and a whole lot more. We've got free shipping for people who came to the show, and it's a really big deal when you take the time to go over there. I hope to be able to have that exchange with you, and we'll be packing all those packages with a lot of love. Thank you for tuning in. Take care of yourselves, and I look so forward to seeing all of you out there again really soon.
As we look back through the looking glass, visions closer than they appear. There's so many things to be grateful for, my dear. All these objects in the mirror, objects in the mirror.